NGOs have brought back the proposal to abolish the executive presidency with the blessing of the government. In fact, this proposal was brought earlier. The leader of the opposition said that if there is a provision to dissolve the parliament soon after abolishing the executive presidency, they are ready to support the amendment. Therefore, government has been cautious to accommodate the request of the main opposition. So, as an interim or transitional provision of the constitutional amendment. Several political parties, including the SLFP, has already expressed their support to this proposal, and the government expects other parties such as SJB, JVP and the TNA would support this proposal because that's their stated policy. In fact, this proposal is a sugar-coated poison. The government has planned to postpone the presidential election indefinitely in the guise of abolishing the executive presidency. In other words, presidential election will face the same fate of local authority election and the provincial council election. The Supreme Court has already determined that any constitutional amendment to abolish the executive presidency shall be approved by the people at a referendum in addition to approval of the parliament with the two-thirds majority. After passing the constitutional amendment by parliament with the two-thirds majority, the speaker has to inform that to the president. Then president will have to place this before the people for their approval at a referendum. The steps to be taken after the approval by the people is clearly mentioned in Article 80 of the Constitution. It says, President cannot certify approval of the bill by the people at a referendum if there is a petition challenging the validity of the referendum before the Supreme Court. If there is such a petition, then President has to wait until conclusion of the hearing of those petitions. The Referendum Act says the Supreme Court shall take every endeavor to conclude the hearing within 6 months. It's only but it's not mandatory. Therefore, there will be no abolition of executive presidency as long as there is a pending case before the Supreme Court. Some may argue that present constitution is still valid as long as validity of the referendum is pending before the court. Technically it's true, but not pragmatic, because some may argue that present constitution is still valid as long as constitutional amendment is signed and made it operational. Therefore, executive presidency is operational and presidential election can be held. But it is technically true but not pragmatic, because government would not allocate funds and election commission most probably would not try to hold an election for a post which could be abolished at any moment. In this backdrop, we urge all opposition parties to not to fall into this trap set by the government.